Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Saturday, November 5, 2022, and giving you our player props, match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Virginia Cavaliers vs North Carolina Tar Heels. North Carolina won their fourth straight game as they took care of business against Pitt at home last week. The Tar Heels ran their record to 7-1 overall, and they are 4-0 in the Coastal Division, 2 games ahead of Duke and Miami. Against Pitt, North Carolina trailed 17-14 at the half and 24-21 after 3 quarters, before outscoring Pitt 21-0 in the fourth quarter to earn the victory. The Tar Heels rolled up a 474-367 edge in total offense, picked up 26 first downs while allowing 14, and held a 31-28 to 28-32 advantage in time of possession in the contest. North Carolina also forced the lone turnover in the game. Virginia turned in another solid defensive performance against Miami, but still ended up on the wrong end of the scoreboard. The Cavaliers entered this game 3-5 overall and stand 1-4 in the ACC, putting them in a tie for the cellar in the Coastal Division standings. Against Miami, Virginia couldn't find the end zone, but also kept the Hurricanes from scoring a touchdown in the contest. The game was 6-6 at the end of regulation and was even at 12 at the end of 3 overtimes before Miami scored the decisive points in the fourth overtime to earn the victory. Virginia held a 327-273 edge in total offense, though they lost a first down battle 17-14 and the time of possession by a 32-42 to 27-18 margin. Neither team committed a turnover in the game. For the year, the Tar Heels are 6th in the nation in passing offense, with 334.4 yards per game through the air, and 56th in rushing offense, by picking up 167.6 yards per contest on the ground. North Carolina is 7th in the FBS in scoring offense, as they put up 41.8 points per game, but stand only 110th in scoring defense, by allowing 31.4 points per contest. Drake May is 196 of 275 passing for 2,671 yards, with 29 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the year. He also leads the team on the ground with 439 yards and 3 scores. Jacoby Criswell is 1 of 5 for 4 yards, while adding 20 rushing yards. Josh Downs leads the team in the receiving department as he has 48 catches for 527 yards and 7 scores. Antoine Green, 23 receptions, 564 yards, 6 TD, J.J. Jones, 15 catches, 316 yards, 2 TD, Bryson Nesbitt, 18 receptions, 279 yards, 3 TD, and Kamari Morales, 18 grabs, 232 yards, 4 TD, are good secondary targets. Noah Burnett has hit all 41 extra point attempts and 7 of 9 field goal attempts, with a long of 47 this season. We have a pair of polar opposites on the field in this contest. North Carolina is one of the most explosive offensive teams in the nation, piling up 502 yards per game in total offense and 7 yards per play. The Tar Heels have had issues on defense, but they catch a break here facing a Virginia team that is in the bottom 10 of the country in points per game. Tony Elliott has had a rough first year running the Cavaliers, and turnovers have been a big issue for them. Virginia has turned the ball over 19 times in 8 games and has a -6 margin in the takeaway-giveaway ratio this season. The Cavaliers struggle to move the ball, even against a bad defense, and can't slow North Carolina enough to hang in. Back the Tar Heels as they pick up a victory to remain unbeaten in ACC play. Our team pick is North Carolina Tar Heels -7.5 points. The under is 21-5-1 in UNC's last 27 games after accumulating less than 100 yards rushing in their previous game. I believe this is especially notable with Hood out. UVA gets pressure on the quarterback and defends the pass, making it one of the more underrated units in the country. Virginia's offense isn't even dreaming of going touchdown for touchdown with UNC's elite unit, nor should it. If the Cavaliers own time of possession, watch out just not for points. The under is 6-1-1 in Cavaliers games this season, a trend that I believe will continue in their 9th matchup. Take the under at 59.5 points. Wisconsin vs Maryland. One major concern about Maryland's performance against a mediocre, to be kind, Northwestern offense was the fact that they allowed 215 yards on the ground on 46 carries. Another concern is penalties, as the Terps committed 8 for 80 yards. They now rank 123rd in the nation with 8.4 penalties per game. Getting Tagovailoa back will help the offense because he's completed 72.5% of his passes for 2,001 yards, 13 TDs and 5 picks. His leading receiver is Rakim Jarrett with 33 catches for 371 yards and 3 scores. Hemi leads the ground game with 681 yards and 7 TDs and also has 26 catches for 239 yards and a TD. On the defensive end, Maryland allows 380.3 yards per game on 260 passing yards, 103rd, and 120.3 rushing yards, 31st. The run defense will be tested in this game. The Badgers took care of Northwestern, 42-7, in their first game under Lee Onhard and then fell at Michigan State in overtime, 34-28, as a 7-point favorite. They bounced back on October 22 against Purdue as the defense picked off Aiden O'Connell 3 times, including an early pick 6 from John Torchio in the first quarter. Wisconsin jumped out to a 21-0 first quarter lead and held on despite Purdue's fourth quarter efforts to put up 2 touchdowns. Mertz threw for 203 yards and 2 TDs, while Braylon Allen rushed for 113 yards on 16 carries. There's nothing fancy about Wisconsin. They average 172 yards per game on the ground and 218 yards in the air. Allen leads with 870 yards and 9 touchdowns, though he's listed as questionable with an arm injury. He left the Purdue game with a left arm injury, but was cleared to return. Mertz has completed 63.3% of his passes for 1,630 yards, 17 TDs and 6 ints. Defensively, the Badgers allow just 342.9 yards per game, 34th, 228.9 passing yards, 62nd, and 114 rushing yards, 25th, per game. They also give up just 21.9 points per game to rank 38th. I'm a bit concerned about the weather since Wisconsin is usually the better running team. However, with Allen coming in banged up and backup Shea Malusi, 223 yards, out for the year, Maryland should be better suited to handle the weather. Hemi has been sensational lately, Tagovailoa can run some, 3 TDs, and if they want to have a bigger threat at QB, Edwards, 6'3", 215, could be used as a wildcat threat. If Antwain Littleton, 6'0", 240, returns from a knee injury, it's over. He's perfect to run the ball between the tackles when the weather is iffy. This is a good Wisconsin defense, but they are not dominant by any means. They allowed Purdue to throw for 320 yards in the air. Maryland can win this game outright, but they should cover. Our team is pick Maryland plus 5.5 points. Maryland is coming off of a bye week as they face Wisconsin fresh and able to rehab some injuries. In their last game, Maryland defeated Northwestern 31-24. Roman Hemi reeled off a 75-yard touchdown run to give the Terrapins the 7-point lead and ultimately the win with 3 minutes remaining in the game. Hemi finished with 179 yards on the ground as he carried the ball 24 times for 3 touchdowns. The freshman running back has hit over 100 yards on the ground 4 times this season. Each time he has eclipsed that number, Maryland has come out on top. In Maryland's 2 losses, he ran for 48 yards or loss. The key to a win for the Terrapins is to keep feeding Hemi the ball. Wisconsin is coming off of a win over stingy Purdue 2 weeks ago. Wisconsin enjoyed the win and then went off on their bye week. The Badgers defeated Purdue 35-24 as they led for the entire game. A big first quarter set the tone for Wisconsin as they jumped out to a 21-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. A Purdue field goal put the halftime score at 21-3, with the momentum firmly in the hands of the Badgers. Purdue mounted a short comeback as they scored back-to-back touchdowns in the fourth quarter. But there wasn't enough time as Wisconsin earned the win. Purdue outgained Wisconsin in yardage as the Boilermakers had 431 yards to Wisconsin's 381. Wisconsin forced 3 turnovers, 2 of which turned into points for the Badgers. They scored on a pick six in the first quarter to highlight a strong defensive performance where they bent but did not break. Wisconsin is ranked 3rd in the nation in takeaways as they have 14 this season. With their weapons back, Maryland can score the ball quickly. The over has 6 times this season for them. The over has hit 4 times for the Badgers this year, which shows they are not immune to large scoring games either. Take the over due to Maryland's offense and Wisconsin showing that they can score the ball, too. They scored 35 points in their last game to Purdue. The over is 6-0 in Terrapins' last 6 games following an against the spread loss. The over is 7-1 in Badgers' last 8 games following a bye week. Take the over 50.5 points on Saturday.